So that wraps up our recognition for today and enables me to go on now to our guest speaker for which everybody is tuned in. Over to you, Jay. I'd like to just introduce you briefly. Jay, the most important reason that we'd love to have Jay speak and share with you today is that he is a man on a mission as a most successful man in his own right as a future MVP. Jay is very proudly able to say that he is in MVP qualification, but he is actually our first male RVP in Australia, and this was a very auspicious occasion when he became an RVP. But the most important thing to recognise too is that Jay is a businessman in his own right in the finance industry, and he operates, of course, his full-time his own business, which must take up a huge amount of his time. So it's an incredible success to also run alongside that the fantastic growth that he's had as an RVP as well. So, Jay, I know you're going to share your story, but I know that is just a tremendous accolade to you, and also to do so as well as being a dad to 3 beautiful children. And that is another full-time job that you wear an additional hat for, because as you're sharing with us, you have beautiful Willow, age 8, Sadie, age 5, and Alfie, age 4. So 3 gorgeous children to also run around and parent. Now, Jay's success was just quite a rocketing achievement. Jay became an RVP in the minimum required time it takes to become one, and that is 6 months. He became a district manager. He joined in April, at the end of April 2013, and he joined in his wife's nation as his own consultancy under the, at the time, area managership of Kari Burke, of course, well-known MVP. And Kari at the time, as I mentioned, was only an area, and Jay decided that he too could develop as a second business, as another leg of that business, but of course had great sights on becoming a leader as well. And so as Kari was developing to her MVPship, Jay was building as well. And she has always maintained her own separate RVPship and, of course, MVPship separate to this rocketing growth. So Jay went on in 2 months to be a district manager. He did first step area in that second month, then completed it the following month in August, and went on to do 2 consecutive months for RVPship, becoming a new RVP November 1, which was just 6 months later. So Jay, an incredible journey. I know you've got a lot to contribute, and your topic today is sharing with those men that are listening on this call and to consultants who have got men in their business on the fact that men can be successful in their own Arbonne business. I'd like to mention that in AAC we had 43 gentlemen that were in attendance at that conference, of which 5 were guests and the other 38 were consultants in their own right. They were both district managers and area managers in that mix, and of course I know you have set the bar for them in knowing that they too can go on to have their own MVPship and be successful. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to you and welcome you to the call and for your fabulous contribution today.
Thanks, Tracy. Thanks, everyone, for being on the call. I think, am I right in saying, Tracy, that last year at AAC we had 1 male? Is that right?
Yes, I think you're absolutely right there. Certainly. So how far have we come? That's amazing. Yes.
A long way. So again, thanks for having me on this afternoon. Thanks for everyone for taking the time out of their busy days to dial in. It was actually really exciting listening to our 20 AMs, 7 RVPs and 2 NVPs, and hearing so many familiar names. So congratulations to all those AMs that are actually on the call. Fantastic effort. I think you've done a really good job of introducing me, Tracy, so I won't do any more introductions other than to say that it's certainly a privilege for me to be able to speak with everyone today and share a bit of insight into my own business. I suppose my experience as a male, as a husband, and as a business owner, as you mentioned, in the financial services industry. So my hope really is that this call provides a bit of impetus and maybe for everyone to have a confident discussion with men about this business, and that all men in this business, be they consultants in their own right or spouses of existing consultants, recognise the enormous part that they do play in developing and sustaining a successful Arbonne business. It also might be a call that you share with men in your team or even a spouse to give them a slightly different perspective on the opportunity and the products and who it may be suited to. You'll also notice that I do use the word business a lot, and as area managers, I'm sure you recognise that the opportunity that you first began looks very different today than when you first started. The one thing I can guarantee is that your view on the opportunity will continue to change and change for the better if you treat this as a business as early as possible and then duplicate that same philosophy to all of your team. So my story does start a little more than 2 years ago when my wife, NVP Kari Burke, came home after dinner with a couple of girlfriends. We heard a few of their names during the recognition. So Executive National Vice President Danielle Stevens and her gorgeous sister, Executive Regional Vice President Stephanie O'Connor. Now, Kari had been out of the workforce for nearly 8 years, and whilst we had our 3 gorgeous children, so Willow, Sadie and Alfie, and had been getting some itchy feet to do something else outside the kids. And we'd contemplated Kari returning to work, but both Kari and I weren't keen on her doing that. We had also considered sort of the possibility of setting up another business that Kari could own, she could grow and be passionate about. But we looked at a number of options. All of them involved either a significant time or a significant financial commitment that really wasn't going to allow the flexibility that we wanted around the kids and obviously our existing business interests. So Kari came home this one night after dinner and a few wines, full of excitement and enthusiasm, telling me about this wonderful opportunity that Danny and Steph had shared with her with a company called Arbonne. Now, when I asked Kari to explain to me a bit about the opportunity, all she said to me was, I'm going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars and they're going to give me a free white Mercedes. If you can hear, I'm actually scratching my head at the moment, and as you might be able to imagine and possibly relate, if there's any husbands listening or get a chance to listen to this call, my immediate reaction was one of skepticism, and I was immediately on the back foot and quite defensive. So being the protective husband and also having a background in sort of business and financial services, I really needed some context. I needed some detail around the opportunity, and I'm sure a lot of people on the call can relate to that. In Kari's defence, she'd only just heard the presentation or the opportunity, and she herself was only just beginning to understand the opportunity and the industry. But what I could tell is that Kari's excitement was definitely genuine and that there was something worth exploring further. So being the world's most amazing and supportive husband, I set about understanding more about Arbonne and the opportunity myself before, I suppose, making judgment. After dealing with, I suppose, some of my own skepticism and sort of preconceived ideas about the industry and having taken some time to understand the Arbonne opportunity, I really couldn't see a reason why Kari should not do this. Now, Kari joined as a consultant in September 2012, but at this stage, I was still of the impression that this was going to be a great hobby business for a stay-at-home mum, and had certainly not considered the possibility of joining as a consultant myself. I was, however, really keen to support from the sidelines and cheer Kari on in a little business venture, in inverted commas, whilst ensuring that she did run it effectively as a business, and most importantly in a way that didn't compromise us personally or professionally or even financially. So I think one of the things that held me in good stead over this time was that even though I was not a consultant myself, I did see it as our business, and I was committed to actually learning along the way with Kari, educating myself more and more about Arbonne, the opportunity, the products and the industry, so that I could be that supportive husband. But also, because I didn't want to be involved in anything, even, I suppose, by association, that I didn't understand or that I felt might compromise us. And the best way I knew how to do this was just to get educated. So the natural byproduct of me understanding more about the business was that I became more comfortable with the products, with the opportunity with Arbonne and the industry. And I found myself naturally talking about all the above on a regular basis with friends, families and business colleagues. And after 5 months of supporting from the sidelines, it was time for me to join the business. And I formally started in April 2013, as Tracy mentioned in the introduction. I joined as a consultant direct to my wife and started my own business. And my why, we hear that a lot, but my why essentially was why not. I couldn't see a good reason, and I'd gone through them all as to why I shouldn't actually have my own Arbonne business. I think my background and experience in business and finance probably has helped me very quickly see the amazing potential in our business model. I think when, like lots of us, we couple those trends that we're all seeing and experiencing today, so in health and wellness, in e-commerce, and also the way we look at small business, I knew that we could turn this unlimited income potential that we hear into a reality. And I have a strong belief that most of us are conditioned through experience to think that the only option we have to earn more is to hope that our employer is kind enough to give us a pay rise, or if we're brave enough to seek out self-employment, that our only option is to spend a small fortune or mortgage the home in the hope of creating some true financial freedom. I could see a business opportunity, I could see a product suite that appealed to a broad cross-section of people, and importantly, it wasn't gender, education or age specific. I think that was really important. So this combined with the market trends that I think we're all very aware of, I could see myself that I was already part of, even as a male, of something that I could see was the right industry, the right company at the right time. And for those of you that were lucky enough to go to AAC and attend with myself and another 53 males and another 1,500 ladies, you would have heard from Alan Pease, who spoke brilliantly about the reasons why people, both men and women, join a direct selling or network marketing company. And it was these that really resonated with me from a business point of view, because I see and hear these needs every day from men and women. So those being the need for extra income, the want for financial freedom, people's want to own their own business, have more time, develop themselves personally, help others, sort of meet new people, and also, quite simply, to fund their retirement, their income needs. So you'll also note that none of these are gender specific. They're common and consistent goals that, if we're honest, we all share and we should be aware of whenever we're talking to anyone about the opportunity, and we should be listening intently for when we're in conversation with people. So I truly believe that one of our biggest challenges in Arbonne is also one of our biggest opportunities, and that being defensive and protective husbands and partners just like me. So there's no doubt that Arbonne has a long and proud tradition of personal care and opportunity for women, and this amazing legacy, however positive, has created a perception that Arbonne is just for women, which I can tell you from first-hand experience could not be further from the truth. And we all know that perception rules behaviour, and we have a brilliant opportunity to change that perception of Arbonne by ensuring, like me, that our husbands, our boyfriends, our partners are given the opportunity to understand, so be involved, educate and upskill alongside their spouse in a business that they can build together. Now, education and understanding is the key, but also as more men join my business, I've seen a distinct change in perception, a distinct change in the way the opportunity is actually viewed. And I personally make a very conscious effort to make myself available to consultants and their partners to ensure that they themselves have a balanced view, but also that they can be informed and educated together. So whether a husband or a partner is interested themselves in being a consultant or not, I think it's essential for sustained success for them to actually be on board and supporting, even if it's just from the sidelines, so that they can advocate with some understanding. The evolution of involving husbands from day one and ensuring that they understand and are supportive is that they will begin to get it. They will see the enormous advantage of having a dual male and female view of the business. And I think it's this dual perspective that can literally double your market. So imagine for a minute if you've got a you have 20 female consultants in your network, but each of those consultants has a partner that's supportive, that's educated and understands their business. We now have 40 people with the potential at least to be that word-of-mouth advertisement for our phenomenal products and our opportunity. I was thinking of an example of this. We held a training 2 weeks ago for consultants, and we had 350 people in attendance on a Saturday morning. And I was standing there with one of our newest male consultants, ex-AFL Geelong Cats legend David Mensch, and we were looking at the crowd of predominantly women and only a handful of men. In the crowd, I could actually see why men would immediately consider this as an opportunity suited only for women. But when you start to look at this as a business and you realise that those 350 women are loyal consumers and representatives of our amazing product, that's 350 people that are using, consuming and selling the products that drives my business and its profitability, it takes on a whole new dimension. Add to that the majority of those women have a spouse, and a spouse that, if on board, will be an avid user, consumer and spokesperson for our business. It's quite phenomenal when you actually start to take a different view on the opportunity. But without being too general, from my experience, men have a tendency to gravitate to the business opportunity ahead of the product, and women vice versa. So it's worth keeping this in mind when you're presenting it both, as it can be sort of those subtle differences in the way you present that can appeal differently. This can also be a great strength of men as consultants, as they tend to have limited reservations around presenting the business, but they may struggle, at least initially, to lead with the product. Again, given the perception of this being a product-based opportunity for women alone. Another thing I get asked a lot about, and Tracy had asked me to touch on, was about how Kari and I, as a husband and wife, have established our own consultancies, and what is, I suppose, the best way, as far as business entities, to structure a husband and wife Arbonne business. I'll make the point that there is no right or wrong way, although there always needs to be the compliant way to actually establish a business. And at worst, we want husbands and partners as supporters and advocates of their spouse's business and can talk confidently in support. So, with myself, that support and advocacy grew to the point where, as with myself, that support and advocacy grows to the point where your partner would like to be formally presenting the business opportunity, selling product, speaking of the product, then I'd certainly encourage that they consider either being a consultant in their own right or joining as a partnership or any other legal entity allowed under our policies and procedures. And the great thing about Arbonne, which I think should never be undersold, is that you can run your consultancy how you see fit in a way that works best for you and your partner, as long, as I said, that it's done compliantly. So for Kari and I, we've chosen to be two separate independent consultants and not merge our consultancies together. This is largely due to the fact that I personally am comfortable and committed to growing and supporting my own team, as Kari is with hers. We still work really closely together. We share, obviously, resources. We share a house. We share time, presentations, thoughts about our businesses. There certainly is no shortage of directors' meetings or dinners on our business account. It's also been a financial decision, given that we've both been able to grow very strong downlines and networks independently. There are some that this might not be suitable for, in which case you do have that option of merging your consultancy should one partner wish to take a more, I suppose, a backseat or administrative position and support the other who's out presenting at opportunity meetings, one-on-ones or workshops. I think the key is to find a model that fits and suits you as individuals, and the key message, really importantly, the key message is that a supportive and well-informed male and female partnership, in whatever form it comes, has amazing leverage and potential to elevate your business to the next level. I'm also asked regularly about how I work my Arbonne business. So, as a male, what is my style? What do I lead with? And it really is a great question. It probably goes to the heart of why I believe that I've had some success, but also how I've managed to fit Arbonne in and around my existing business, 3 kids, busy wife and busy life. If you do listen to any successful MVP, and I hope that all of you are taking the time to do that, they'll tell you that the key to success in this business is to find a system that works, that's easy to duplicate and stick to it. For me, I needed to find a system that allowed me to use my people skills, my love for creating new relationships, and my understanding of business. For me, this means that Arbonne is, I suppose, more of a conversation piece and something that I carry around with me in my back pocket wherever I go. As I noted before, most men have a tendency to gravitate towards a business opportunity ahead of the product, and for that very reason, and due to my limited time, I lead with the business the majority of the time. Now, just to clarify, that doesn't mean that I don't do product presentations or don't support members of my team who this works for. It simply means that my preferred method of working my Arbonne business is to lead with the business, followed immediately with a product experience for that potential IC or PC. One of my non-negotiables when I started as a consultant was that I would never hard sell someone on the product or the opportunity. And I remember discussing this vividly with Kari and saying, if we need to hard sell or compromise ourselves to have success in this business, then I don't want to be a part of it. So we set about from day one to ensure that we ran it as a well-run business by ensuring we gave absolutely everyone an opportunity to make that informed decision about whether it was right for them. So no matter whether someone wanted to join as an IC or a PC or just knew someone that the product or the opportunity may suit, they leave me being more informed about what I'm doing and the industry, thus going, I think, some small way to changing any negative perception that they may have carried before. And another really important thing to remember is that network marketing or word of mouth works both ways, positive and negative. Always leave people with a positive experience. Also, don't forget your responsibility to manage your own brand, your own reputation and that of Arbonne. We are one collective as Arbonne consultants and represent one another. We all have a great responsibility as we have more success to ensure that we operate with the utmost of integrity and professionalism, because people are watching us. So there's one thing you can guarantee is that people are watching us, and your team will look for you for guidance and for what to duplicate. We want to duplicate and create the most well-rounded, well-informed, well-educated and professional consultants that the industry has seen. And I really do believe that it is this point of difference that will see people from sort of all backgrounds and genders look at what we have and actually want to be part of it. It's worth reminding yourself occasionally that in addition to being a product-based opportunity, Arbonne is a relationship-driven business, and being such, it's very, very hard to build a business if you don't put yourself in a position where you can be around new people and develop new relationships and friendships. I see so many people developing high levels of anxiety around exhausting their warm market, their family and friends, and then struggling with how to introduce the products and the opportunity to new people in cold markets. Now, the key, which applies equally to male and female, is to be conversational and social. I always like to say the best approach is one that is confident, casual, but professional. Remember, no one likes a hard sell. People want to know and feel that you have a genuine interest in them first and foremost, and once people know that your interest starts with them and not the product or the opportunity, interestingly, they'll be more open to the product and the opportunity. For me, I'm a social person by nature, and I understand the benefit of both personally and professionally of building networks. I'm on a number of committees, both socially and professionally. I continue to be engaged with my local sporting club and school groups. All of these environments are one that are not necessarily female or male dominated. In each of these instances, I put myself in a position where I am meeting and introducing myself to new people every day. This certainly wasn't the sole purpose of, or wasn't with the sole purpose of promoting my Arbonne or my financial planning business, because I've always done this. But what I know is that being engaged with people gives me the opportunity to understand more about them. I think, again, for those people that were lucky enough to go to AAC, as Alan Peace said, there are a number of reasons why people would consider Arbonne as an opportunity, and our job is to listen first as people. They will tell us the reasons why this opportunity may be for them, and most of the time this all happens before we've even asked them anything. I've never, I suppose from personal experience, I'm never desperate to introduce Arbonne into a conversation, because I know it will come up in conversation. But what I am in a hurry to do is actually ask questions of someone so I can understand more about them. In the majority of instances, people will ask you what you do, and you'll tell them in a confident, casual but professional manner that I have my own network marketing or direct selling business with Arbonne. Now, this isn't the opportunity to launch into your 30-minute spiel on product ingredients or a sort of in-depth discussion about the success plan. It's your opportunity to actually return the focus to them. So the right people will inevitably be curious about what you do and return serve with questions like, what do you sell? What is network marketing? How does it work? Now, depending on your setting, I would normally answer the question briefly and say something like, now's probably not the most appropriate time to go into detail, but how about we organise a time to catch up over a coffee and we can have a chat. So this not only reduces my anxiety, but also ensures that that person, male or female, never ever feels hard sold. They're comfortable, they're relaxed, they're engaged, and by default, they're more open to hearing about what you do. So it's important that once someone actually is engaged and ready to join your business, you do take the time to set them up for success. So this means that you do need to spend that time listening to what people's needs are, what they want to get out of the business, and allow them to make that informed decision for themselves with your guidance. This is where you have the opportunity with men to recognise that they do, and we do, think and operate a little bit differently. So any of the guys on the call, I apologise for the generalisation. With Kari's help as my sponsor, I knew what I wanted to get out of the business, and I knew the time I could commit, I knew where I could source my leads from, I knew what my budget was, and how I was actually going to fit this in around my existing business, around the kids, and in life in general. This didn't mean that the system that we followed changed. It just meant that it was tailored for my strengths as a professional male. I could see, I suppose, early on that if I was committed to actually running this as a business, that my strengths and time commitment dictated that I would need to lead with the opportunity first, and that my best chance of success to grow a sort of a network of loyal consumers of both preferred clients and consultants meant that I probably was going to focus on the business more than the direct sales alone. To do this, I needed to support my own business first, and that meant being, and you've probably heard this a lot, being a product of the product, and replacing what I was currently spending on personal care and nutrition with Arbonne wherever I could. I also needed to have an appropriate amount and variety of products, so call those my business tools, to actually be able to share with people and give them that product experience. So being a product of the product has allowed me to talk with confidence and with passion about the products that drive our business. The key is to understand what result you and your consultants want out of your business and know what it is that actually drives that result. I mentioned before, remember, never leave anyone with a negative experience. So whether someone wants to join you as a consultant or as a PC or none of the above, ensure that they leave you always with a positive impression about what you're doing, about Arbonne and about the industry. Wish them well and ensure that you're always available should they have any questions in the future. Remember, no one likes a hard sell. I've said that about 5 times now, and I can guarantee you that they will continue to watch you and your success. So make sure that you give them something positive to watch. For those people that do join your business as an IC or a PC, it's critical, really important, critical that you continue to foster that relationship with them. So you continue to communicate regularly, stay in touch, because it really is the one you keep is the one that you don't have to find. as a male, I think, and as a business owner, I don't think there's ever been a better time to actually introduce men into this business. We are seeing that evolution, pardon the pun, of an expanding nutrition range, and also that new era and focus of men's health. So just pause for a minute and think about this. This is a game changer for us all. When you start to combine men becoming more comfortable with the opportunity together with products that they are comfortable in using and recommending, we will see businesses expanding into new networks and new territories. Now, I've said this a lot to a lot of my team, that if you do have men in your business, it's really important that you do get them up front and centre in your business. Get them up front and centre and actually promoting what we do and how we do it. I was thinking about some sort of the amazing success stories we've had with men in our business over the last 12 months. And we have, in sort of the broader Burke nation, had men joining from a number of backgrounds in their own right, and they include ex-professional sports people, policemen, bricklayers, builders, financial advisors, accountants, personal trainers. The common denominator in nearly all of these instances was that these men, in all of the instances, these men started, as I did, as defensive husbands. They then supported from the sidelines as they were encouraged to understand the business, and ultimately have joined the business in their own right as they see the amazing opportunity for not only males to succeed, but to succeed alongside their wives and partners. So, in closing, I wanted to reinforce some of my key tips for success, and I suppose those that I believe, those that give you the belief that men can be successful in this business, and that it's absolutely possible to get to MVP around full-time work. So, number one, hopefully everyone's got their pens out, or they can listen back to the recording later, and that is personal development. So, fit it in, read a book, listen to an audio, exercise, or do both. Do them all at the same time. One of my favourite things to do is actually go for a run in the morning, pop my earphones in, and actually listen to something, educate while I'm exercising. Number two is treat it as a business. So this is my sort of favourite hashtag, and my team laugh a bit when I say this, because I do say it a lot. I think the quicker you realise that this is a business and you treat it as one, the more sustained success it will be. So the less emotionally attached you can be to the outcome, both good or bad, I think it has a nice balancing effect for all of us. Number three was no hard sell. So no one likes a hard sell. Be confident, be casual, be professional, and don't mistake this for not being actually inactivity. Quite the opposite. Get busy talking to people, but ensure you develop relationships and that you do not destroy them. The fourth one was be a product of the product. So if you don't support your own business, it's very hard to expect that other people will actually do the same. The fifth one, which is, again, along the lines of actually being relationship-driven, is being conversational and relationship-focused. So I don't think you necessarily need to start any conversation with Arbonne. Let it evolve and be genuinely interested in people first and foremost. Number six was get busy and work hard, and this sort of comes direct from my wife, who says, don't procrastinate, don't overthink, don't sweat the small stuff, just get busy taking action and making things happen rather than hoping that things will happen. And number seven, probably the last one, is just continue to remember that you actually want sustained success in this business. That's a mouthful. You don't want this to be a flash in the pan. We want to build our businesses on a strong foundation of sustained success and not just short-term wins. So I think it has been these tips that have allowed Kari and I to grow a network which now totals more than 4,000 consultants and preferred clients, consuming and selling more than $500,000 of product a month. That white Mercedes and the hundreds of thousands of dollars that I was sceptical about, I'm not so sceptical about anymore. And as you might be able to tell, I am passionate about lifting the bar of professionalism for the industry and for all consultants, as well as exposing as many men to the business as we can. I think if we can carry some of this philosophy in all of our businesses will continue to grow with all the sustainability that we do all desire. We are much better together, and I think collectively as Arbonne consultants, we need to never lose that culture of support and inclusiveness, because it is a very, very unique and attractive quality, and it's one that really attracted me to the business, and it will continue to attract and retain people in your business. So thank you to everyone that's taken the time to join the call today and who are committed to running their consultancy as a genuine business. I look forward to meeting and seeing everyone, whether it be in Vegas or Melbourne, Maui, Fiji, or wherever else Arbonne takes us all. I do really enjoy hearing those success stories of men in the business as well as other success stories. So please don't be afraid to reach out to me, share your stories of success, and make sure that if you get the opportunity, come up and introduce yourself to me. To Tracy, I just wanted to say a massive thank you for the power of work that you do in support of all the consultants, and also your willingness to be there for us whenever we need you. I know Kari and I have given Tracy a hard time many a late night at the end of the month, and for your commitment to all consultants, we thank you. I had to do a little bit of my own housekeeping. I wanted to close by wishing my gorgeous wife, Kari, happy travels. Kari's actually out travelling at the moment. She's going to the Arbonne Canada conference and then flying across to the Arbonne UK conference to support our team globally, but also to expose herself to the best in the business. And I think I'm not sure where it's sat in my top tips, but if you want success in this business, find the people that are actually having success and don't be afraid to reach out to them. Find out what they're doing, how they're doing it, and try and duplicate that. And my last shout out is to our regions in qualification. So Burke Nation at the moment has a number of regions in qualification, being the gorgeous Bree Tucker, Naomi Saunders, Candice Lorenz, Rachel Arbonnes, I love saying that, Josie Frattantaro, and Michelle Solinsky, who are all on the call today. So I love you guys and your teams and everything you've created. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for having me.
Wow, Jay, that was just phenomenal. Thank you very much for your outstanding, sharing, contribution, inspiration. It was amazing. I was going to surmise some of the key points that I'd written down, but you've done that so succinctly with your top 7 points. There's nothing further to add. Really, I know you've got a busy schedule and you need to head off, but I'm sure that recording will be well listened to, that it'll be shared with many gentlemen who are potential consultants, and that a lot of people that are listening in today with their business who may have in mind a great guy that they would like to have shared this business to will utilize your strong and powerful conviction to help them sponsor those people. I also wanted to acknowledge that you did touch on the difference between joining the business in your own right with your own ID as opposed to creating a business entity with another person. And if anyone has further questions about the detail of that, they're welcome to contact me, and I can, share that. But generally, it is a personal matter because both are equally as successful, whether you put two people together to channel to one group or divide it into two as another leg. As you mentioned, it is definitely up to the individual. Both have shown through different NDP groups around the world to be as successful. So thank you again, and we look forward to hearing from you in the future as a future MVP. But in the meantime, as our Australia's first male regional vice president, we wish you congratulations on that, raising the bar for all men to go for that as well. So thank you, Jay.
Thanks for having me, Tracy.
All the best. Thank you. I'll let you go on to your busy day. So with